Look at that. Bryce has to pay the time. He's already stuck the most in this game. Over 12,000, and then he
$2,000. He can pay.
has some sort of side bet going where he has to pay $1,000 for losing the time. So I think like him and Brian
I did win. I did win the
cross-booked
Do I look like someone who won the collection pot?
time collection.
No, Brian does not. I don't know shit, dude. Brian, $91. Let's see if he gives in to the pressure.
I agree with that.
This isn't like a trick. Like you owe $91. I just threw $13 to you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
He's not even kidding.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
You remember this?
Can't you just take my $2,000 and do what you're supposed to do? You gotta try to cheat me out of the other $90 too. Like I didn't lay juice in
I
the
think
fucking thing.
it was legitimate. It wasn't. It wasn't.
I forgot about that. I forgot that I bought your phone. Sorry about that.
That's alright.
You know you can't just buy the collections and then make them pay anyway, right? You can't just. It's a sick business model. Sick needles on you though. You have to defend
And
yourself.
it looks like Jerry is going to leave us early today.
I was right though. That was
Looks like Jerry's going to lock up his win. He
although I did
wins $16,450. So $16,450 win for Jerry. He was up 20,000 after the first hour. He's going to leave us for whatever reason early.
even was thinking about it going in.
He is
I was thinking
the
about going in,
favorite
I'm like,
right now in the
Washington
LATV
won't give up
challenge
that big
between
lead.
him, Brian, Kim, and Andy.
They just lose
So if you
second
pick
quarter
Jerry,
by
you're in
7
good shape right
points.
now. But the good news is if you picked Andy or Brian, there's still
Washington's still gonna win the game
a
though.
few hours left in the show. We
Too
are
distracted losing money.
less than 3 hours in, so there's still over 2 hours left,
Nice little pump fake right
and
there.
you have a chance for Brian or Andy to win a lot in these last couple hours. And here they are right here playing a big pot. Andy
But I'm
3
trying
bets,
hard, like, I feel like
Brian
I'm playing really
calls,
bad today, so I wanna make sure I,
aces
like,
versus
win a lot
pocket
by one
eights,
short.
heads up. These guys are super deep,
The winning
over
bet.
40,000 effective. And look at this flop, 8-3-3, 2 diamonds, and Brian flops the nuts, 8's full. Andy has aces. Wow, this pot could get huge, guys. Buckle your seatbelts. These guys are over 40K deep. They've played a lot of poker together,
I'm not like focused.
and they have 2 huge hands here.
The flops? Yeah.
Andy bets 1900. Brian calls.
Me neither. But I just wanna gamble.
I was up later than I've been all week last
Turn 7.
night. I woke up pretty early today.
And Andy's going to
You know what
check.
we're
Wow.
supposed to do?
What's that?
Go out, get really fucked up drinking, and then play poker the next day.
You're also supposed to breathe oxygen.
You sit and you know what you're not supposed to do.
I understand.
But breathing oxygen is pretty hard to stop. I mean, everyone does it eventually. They all figure it out.
5,300
Right.
he's going to bet.
hard.
7,300 in the pot.
It's a tough habit to kick
5300.
until you get
5,300 Brian just
I didn't
bet.
find your-
Wow.
your,
This pot is getting massive, guys.
I was already aware.
Andy has aces. There's no way he can fold here.
I never have to.
Call.
One thing is he does have an ace of diamonds in his hand, which makes it a lot less likely that Brian has a flush draw. 5 on the river.
Check.
Andy checks.
not serious.
And Brian has top boat here. 8's full.
It might have been serious. Well, he might just know
What a
that
hand. So
I'm
Andy,
hard to take.
3 bets out of the straddle after Brian
You have to
opens.
think, yeah, it's either
Brian calls. Andy bets flop. Brian calls. Turn, Andy check calls. And river, Andy checks. 18,000 in the pot. Brian is 8's full. Andy with aces.
He kept reducing offers.
I don't think it's very possible at all that Andy folds this hand.
Punched me as hard as he could in the arm.
dollars.
Brian probably going to bet.
Call in.
Oh, wow. No way.
I asked if an 8 beat a straight on the river, and he said it can't.
I was going to say he bets somewhere in the 10 to 13K range. Brian just shoved all in. No way. Andy has 33K. Wow, this is a sick bet. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. If Andy were to call here, this would be an $84,000 pot if Andy calls. This would be an $84,000 pot. It would be by far the biggest pot in the history of this show if Andy were to pay off here. Wow. Andy has 33,000. Brian has him covered. This is why these guys constantly add on to try to cover each other. So they can cover the table, cover each other, so that they can get in a spot like this. Can Andy fold here? I mean, if Brian bets like 15K, I don't think Andy's folding. But he goes for the all-in, the over shove here. Double pot shove. Super polarized.
For sure covers.
They're going to count the stacks. I mean, Brian could have just bet like, there was 17K in the middle. He could have bet 12K, 15K, even 20K as a slight over bet. And Andy might have called. But 33K, double pot. It's so polarized. You know, if it was 12, like Brian might bet 12K with like kings or queens. I'm not expecting Andy to have aces. But betting 33K, he literally is repping eights full or quads. Sevens full. Those hands. And he knows it's probably pretty likely that Andy does have an overpair. He 3-bets out of the straddle and check calls the turn after betting the flop. So there's a lot of overpairs Andy could have here, anywhere nines through aces. Brian is repping eights, threes, or sevens. His bluffs would be diamonds. Andy has an ace of diamonds in his hand, though, which is pretty key, I think, because Brian could definitely barrel with ace-x of diamonds here. Like ace-queen diamonds, ace-10 of diamonds. But because Andy has ace of diamonds in his hand... Oh, and Andy folds it. Wow, great fold by Andy. Pretty sick hand.
I'm not.